Howdy my fellow Leafers. In this video, I'd like to do a little review of the battery protective fast charge algorithm feature in LEAFMod. In case you haven't seen my previous video where I did a quick installation and review, let me give you a quick intro to what LEAFMod is. LEAFMod is a plug-and-play CAN bridge for the Nissan LEAF that allows us to upgrade the high-voltage battery in the LEAF to newer, much higher capacity battery packs quite easily, without having to cut any wires or do any soldering. And, in addition to bridging the communication between the car and the new battery, it has some neat bonus features that allows us to control both DC fast charging power and L1 AC charging power, and also gives us the ability to set a state of charge limit, let's say to stop charging at 70%, etc. The goal of this video is to show you guys how the battery protective fast charge algorithm works. But firstly, let's talk about why we even need a battery protective algorithm for the LEAF. Well, as we all know, the LEAF doesn't have any thermal management in the high voltage battery, and it's prone to premature capacity loss if you fast charge it too frequently or with very high DC current, especially if you live in a warm climate. LEAFMod folks actually describe it much better than I could, so let me just read it out to you quickly. This feature mitigates a key weakness in the LEAF's DC fast charging algorithm. The stock programming favors shorter charge times over long-term battery health by allowing high charge rates that push pack temperatures beyond the optimal range for NMC chemistry. Sustained high C-rate charging and elevated temperatures create parasitic reactions that consume cyclable lithium and produces insulating byproducts and gases. These increase internal resistance and lead to irreversible capacity loss. LEAFMod uses a dynamic power management algorithm that adjusts DC fast charging power in real time using live battery management system data such as state of charge, state of health, and battery temperature. Its goal is to keep the pack within a stable thermal range of roughly 20 degrees Celsius to 40 degrees Celsius, 68 degrees Fahrenheit to 104 degrees Fahrenheit, even if it extends charging time. By continuously regulating current, the system helps prevent excessive heat buildup and the exothermic reactions that accelerate cell degradation. The result is a marked reduction in thermal and electrochemical stress during DC fast charging, helping to preserve battery energy density well beyond the standard warranty period. This is especially beneficial for owners of already degraded packs, as the algorithm treats them more gently than a brand new battery. Hope that gives you a good idea of what we're talking about here. Let's now have a look at an actual charging session with this protective algorithm activated. Before I show you the charging graph in LEAFSpy, let me give you a bit of context about my car and the battery that I've got. It's a 2013 AZE0 model that came with a 24 kilowatt-hour battery, which I've recently upgraded to a 40 kilowatt-hour battery from a wrecked 2018 ZE1 model car. As you can see from the HX value and the SOH value here, it's already quite heavily degraded. Currently, its actual charge holding capacity is roughly around 32 kilowatt hours. If I don't restrict the fast charging power, the pack temperature quickly shoots up to 50 degrees plus Celsius within a matter of like 20 to 30 minutes. That is absolutely not good for the longevity of NMC cells in the LEAF. So let's see what happens now with the protective algorithm in action. The session was started when the battery was at a 30% state of charge, and the battery temperature was around 30 degrees Celsius. I'm in an all-year-round warm climate where the ambient temperatures typically range from 30 Celsius to 34 Celsius, which in reality makes it a lot harder for the LEAF battery to expel the heat it generates. That is actually the main reason I've been desperately looking for a way to control the DC charging power. Thanks to LEAFMod, that goal has been achieved, as you'll be seeing shortly. So the charging power quickly ramps up to about 32 kilowatts, which is exactly a 1C charge rate, which is actually quite okay for this temperature. Without the limiter in place, it would have climbed up to 40 kilowatts, which is a 1.25C charging rate, which can certainly shoot the pack temperature up if allowed to persist for a longer period. The charging power was maintained around 32-33 kilowatts until the battery reached 35 degrees Celsius. As soon as it became 35 plus Celsius, it quickly decreased the charge power to 22 kilowatts, which is a charge rate of 0.7 Cs. The 0.7 C rate was maintained right up until the pack temperature reached 40 degrees Celsius. When the temperature was 40 plus, the charge power dropped down to around 16 kilowatts, which is a 0.5 C charge rate, which is actually ideal for NMC chemistry to sustain continuously. I mean, in a perfect world, the battery should be between 25 to 35 Celsius when being charged with a 0.5 C rate. But I'd say this is a nice improvement compared to what we get with the stock Nissan BMS programming. The 0.5 C rate was maintained until the battery reached the 80% state of charge limit I had configured. I was actually hoping to run this session until 100%, but I completely forgot that I had the SOC limiter turned on in LEAFMod. In any case, the battery didn't go beyond 41-42 degrees Celsius, which is a huge improvement over the 50+ Celsius temps that I usually see by this time in the session. All in all, in about 45 minutes, it managed to pump around 19 kilowatts into the battery, bringing the state of charge up from 30% to 80%. Do keep in mind what you see here is just an extreme example of a heavily degraded pack being charged in a hot climate. If your own battery is in a better state than mine, and also if you live in a milder climate, you'd see a totally different type of charging curve. It would most probably start off with a higher power level and maintain those levels for longer due to your pack heating up much slower than mine. So this is what the protective charging algorithm feature of the LEAFMod does, and I'd say it does it pretty well. Thank you for watching.